finally it's time for the Eagles, FM23. Let's go. All right, everybody, so here we are, FM23, Go Ahead Eagles in the Netherlands. What I would like you to do, I know it's the first episode, so it'd be very important to get some eyes on it, so if you just smash like, that would be absolutely appreciated. And let me know down in the comments your favourite team from the Netherlands. Which is your Dutch team? Let me know down in the comments. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we've chosen the Netherlands and we've chosen Go Ahead Eagles. So I wanted to do a kind of build a nation save, but I didn't want it to be starting sort of like, you know, your Waleses, your Republic of Ireland, your Finlands, your Latvias. I don't have 20 or 30 years. I wanted to kind of have the opportunity not only to build, and I didn't want us to be sort of like the biggest club in the country and having no real rivalries. I think in the Eredivisie, because obviously you've got clubs like Feyenoord, PSV, obviously, and then the big one in Ajax, I think it gives us the option to grow the nation, grow the football quality, the coefficient, to get us more Champions League, Europa League, Conference League places down, and in the future, when we have a little bit more of a competitive Eredivisie. If we look at the Eredivisie itself, there's also clubs like AZ Alkmaar, FC20, all clubs that have been in around sort of like the European Champions League places over the last few years. So I think there's a little bit of strength in depth in there. Obviously, Ajax are the absolute standout club in the Netherlands, and we're aiming to try and, we're not going to compete, you know. They've won 30 Erdivisies. We, on the other hand, have won 4. The last one being in 1933. So we've got a little bit of work to do. However, I would like to eventually get above them in the coefficient. Now, I wanted to do Go Ahead Eagles for a couple of reasons. Number one, the badge. The badge is absolutely tremendous. They've not got a lot of history. They've never won the cup. Obviously, I said they've won the Eredivisie, but we're talking on 90 years without a league title. It would be nice if we could make sure we win a league title before we hit 100 years without a major league title. That is the plan. I'm confident that we can do that within 10 seasons. And another reason as well, you might be aware, Erik ten Hag started at Go Ahead Eagles. It was his first managerial job, and he did absolutely brilliant, getting them promoted, an unlikely promotion, into the Eredivisie only a few years ago. And then obviously he went on to Bayern Munich, FC Utrecht, Ajax, and obviously now Manchester United. So that is a reason. That is another reason. I wanted a club that I think we can build, a club that's going to probably give me a little bit of patience, a little bit of time to build my footballing philosophy. So I am Dutch. That's right, Matt van der Trek. We're going completely Dutch for this. So the idea is that I am a young, up-and-coming manager. I've given myself Continental Pro license and a professional football. I'm trying to go on the fact that, you know, he's had a decent, promising youth career, but had to retire early and has dived into coaching and has finally worked through the youth teams at Go Ahead Eagles and then finally been given his chance to manage the first team. We have a unique style of play that we're going to stay very, very rigid to. And the idea is that we maybe just tweak a few of the roles inside the tactic, but generally we look at signing players, recruitment. I think for the first couple of seasons, because there is no money in the Eredivisie in terms of TV money, it's going to be a case of being really, really clever in the transfer market and making sure we get the right players for the roles that we want for this kind of our own version of total football. All right, let's go and see the tactic that I've started with in pre-season. It has gone pretty well. Okay, so we're looking at a 3 at the back. The main principle of my tactic is going to be we're going to build with a 3 at the back. And what we are going to do is, as you can see, we've got play out of defence on, much shorter passing. We're going to try and build out from the back. I've tweaked a lot of these roles. I had ideas of sort of like playing the standard sort of like 3-4-2-1 that you see in a lot of European teams at the moment. However, I wanted to incorporate a little bit of pace, a little bit more energy into these wide areas. So we've swapped it to 2 wide inside forwards. What we're going to try and do is then obviously build out from the back. We've got a very aggressive, deep-lying midfield double pivot of a regista and a roaming playmaker. These roles, in particular the roaming playmaker, will be tweaked depending on how we're doing in games and depending on who we're playing. So if we're playing Ajax away during like the first season, we may tweak this onto maybe even a Volante, something. I don't want like a half-back, because obviously we've got 3 at the back, so we don't necessarily need our roaming playmaker, this number here, going into these deep areas, but we might need him just to hold his run a little bit. However, at the moment, I haven't seen too much of a problem with this regista and roaming playmaker. So the idea is that we build up We build up steadily. I always want to have a really creative register. We're always going to hopefully play with a register. We're going to have two very aggressive wing-backs, both on attack, as you can see. The idea is that they push on. And then what we've got with these two wide players, we've got the player instructions for sit narrower. So they will come into this. So in attack, it will look like a 3-2-5. That's what we're going with. 3 defenders staying at the back. The two sort of like playmakers, maybe asking the roaming playmaker may get involved at times. But I'm hoping that they make sort of like still a double pivot in and around sort of like the final third. And then we've got a front 5 with the inside forwards tucking in, supporting at the moment a target forward on support. That's kind of out of necessity because we've got 2 players that obviously are target forwards. Basically, we haven't got much to spend in terms of wages or anything. We can make signings, but I'm not planning on to. 172,000 we've got in the transfer budget, but I'm hoping to save it until January at the absolute earliest. Okay, so target forward on support. In the end, we could look at I'd love a complete forward on support when we get to those levels of being able to sign real high caliber technical players. We're going to try and build from the back, as I said, but with these defenders here, we have got the play instructions on dribble more. Okay, so we want our defenders to be really expressive. We're going to maybe try and convert a few maybe more physical fullbacks into wide centre-half. So this dude here, Jose Fontan, is our star player. He's on loan, a little bit unfortunate. He is a left-back, natural left-back. However, he can do a job at centre-half. He is 6 foot, but obviously very good on the ball, passing 14. Technical, what's he got? Technical 12, so he's quite a decent player. So we're going to try and have 2 really good outside centre-halves, being really technical. I don't want wide centre-halves. I don't necessarily need them going around wide. I just want them to be able to carry the ball into midfield. And so far in the match engine, we've seen it. Okay, so that is the generalised plan. We'll always have a sort of like a more solid central defender that opens it up to being a little bit more flexible with that role and being able to not limit who we sign. I think obviously we need to sign youngsters. We're going to target the big teams, Ajax, Feyenoord and PSV for probably not loans, but players that are going to get released. So we're going to keep our eyes on contracts and things like that and try and get a few players maybe on the cheap, even players that they're releasing, build them up and hopefully then turn a profit. It's going to be key this until we get Europa League football on a regular basis. Our budget is going to be very, very small. I think our highest earner is the guy on loan, Fontan, and I think he's on something like 2,000. What's he on? 6,000, is that right? I don't even know if we're paying any of his wages. We're paying absolutely nothing of Jose Fontan's wages. Yeah, our highest earner is Federico Metellio. He is a right back. Pretty average. We haven't been blessed with great quality. Key players being Jose Fontan, our loanee. Our club captain is Bas Coopers, who's going to be our left wing back. He's okay. A lot of 12s, 13s and 14s. Pretty solid. And unfortunately, our youth facilities aren't that great. I actually thought they would have good youth systems. They have brought through players like Jan Kronkamp, Mark Overmars, Bert van Marwijk, is it, who used to be the Netherlands manager at, I think, one of the World Cups not so long ago. I think he's like Arab Emirates manager now. Paul Bosveld as well, who is a part of the club. I think he's my technical director. But it's quite spaced out, quite sporadic, those players. So they haven't had a massive conveyor belt of young players really kicking on and making sort of like an international name for themselves. We have got this dude, Jano Markello, who is, 18? Soon to be 19. Look, he's not an absolute world beater, is he? I think he will be okay for us. He may be a decent Eredivisie player, but that is it. He's not going to really be that massive player. I don't think that we can sell on for maybe 10 million and get some money for. So the money is going to be tight. We've got nothing really else in the youth system either. So we're going to have to be very clever. We're going to have to make sure that we hold on to players as much as we possibly can. The league itself finds itself 7th in the continental reputation in terms of coefficient. If we look at the coefficient, the Netherlands is 7th. I think the idea is, it does say that we may actually go ahead next year of Portugal. So we're hoping that Ajax can have a really good Champions League run, PSV, Feyenoord, any other teams that are in there to really kick us on in the coefficient. The aim is to get us the best playing nation, and we can only do that if teams like Ajax, PSV and Feyenoord and us really kick on. Obviously, the higher that we go up, the more qualification places that we get. So at the moment, we get the league winners go through to the Champions League group stage. We then have the second place going through to what is like a qualifying league path. Europa group stage, we have not only one entrant, and that goes in at the playoffs, and then we have 2 teams that can go into the Europa Conference League. That will also mean that if we look back at the division for the Eredivisie, we're looking at, top 5. Top 4 will get us guaranteed European football. 5th place, depending on the cup winner, may also get us cup football. So we're quite limited, in particular with the big teams as well. FC20 are going to be a massive club compared to us. AZ Alkmaar, PSV Eindhoven that we spoke about. They've got players like Cody Gabko, who's going to absolutely probably run rings round us. We've never even had a taste of continental football, something that we would like to change. And as I said, we need to get that taste of European football pretty quickly. Finances are okay. We do not have a loan. That's good. We do not have a loan. We've got a little bit of money to spend, 172,000, but our wage budget is 54,000, just 54,000, and there will be players at Ajax that are on more than that individually. So a lot of catching up to do. Now, our tactic has had an indifferent start to pre-season, but on the whole, I've tweaked as I've gone. I've played in comprehensive highlights through pre-season, and I'm really happy. I was ecstatic when we beat Telstar 3-0 in the opening game of sort of like the pre-season. Let me just show you our first goal. Okay, here we go. So this is the goal. We get a turnover in possession. We get the ball back. Just remember our 2 wide centre-halves that we're asking them to get on the ball and move forward. We've got that playing instruction of dribble more. There's the wing-back. There's our left-sided centre-half. We've got our registers in there and our roaming playmaker. There we go, just moving it and knocking it. We've been quite patient, much shorter passing. We've asked, I think tempo is on standard. There we go. A few lovely passes. We wait for our turn and then we pounce and we scored a wonderful goal. And I thought, that's it. We're up and running. We did, unfortunately, come up against Man City in pre-season. Haaland scoring 2, Kevin De Bruyne 2, Grealish 1 and Cole Palmer 1. It was 5-1 at half-time, but then we've responded pretty well. We've had a 7 against the Tuckers, just a non-league side. 2-1 against Auxerre, who are in the top division in France. Quick Boys, we played a lot of our backup players for a lot of that just to give us an extra game. So on the whole, I'm quite happy with how the tactic is looking. Now, I don't know how it's going to go with this. We are going to stay. I am going to be quite a stubborn manager, and we're going to tweak things, but the idea is we don't change the style. So the style is going to always be pace up, build up from the back. As you can see, tempo is slightly slower. I'm not asking too much more in creative freedom. We may have to do that if we start coming against teams playing with a low block. But I think because we're going to be classed as underdogs, I think space is going to be in there for us to hit the target man, hit the 2 wide players as well. We're aiming them wing backs to get round as much as possible. And we want that 3-2-5 in build-up when we're in possession to hopefully get some big wins. We're predicted to finish I think 3rd bottom, 4th bottom, 400 to 1. So it looks like we could be in a relegation fight. And the board want us to avoid relegation. The supporters are going to be around the same. They do want us to play attacking football, develop players using the club system. We are going to do that, but the facilities at the moment are not great. Thinking of after season 1, when a few contracts for the youth team managers sort of withdraw and stuff like that, we will try and get in the best in class we possibly can in all departments at the club. I've already asked as well to see if we can extend our youth recruitment network as well. That's going to be key for us. Scouting in Netherlands. Our scouting package only allows us for Netherlands. I've already got a central striker on as a target forward because I think we need to improve in there. We need someone who's going to score us the big goals. I think for the tactic itself, we're kind of aiming on our target forwards, obviously on support, to drop into these areas and then allow the inside forwards on either side to then move into the area, move into the space that he's created. That's the idea with that, playing with the front 3. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not sure. We'll find out on Wednesday night if the whole plan is going to come together. We are going to play the first game of the season then against AZ Alkmaar. We may even do PSV. We may even do 2 games because we're ready and raring to go there. So I'll tell you what, Wednesday's video will be AZ Alkmaar and PSV Eindhoven. You Patreons on the channel, this tactic, now the video is uploaded, this tactic is going to be available for you to download. You are my testers a little bit. Go and plug it into your save. Let me know how you get on with it. Anything that you see in the match engine, Let me know. I'm still trying to figure out this FM23 match engine. So my idea is with it, because FM seems to be pretty chaotic this year, I'm trying to slow the game down and just to be nice and relaxed, nice and calm on the ball, not rushing it, not hoofing it up to the central forward. We're going to try and move the ball as carefully, creatively. We're asking, the registers. We are seeing some lovely switch passes at times, but it is all calm and considered, and hopefully that means less turnovers. We are obviously still going to press, total football, pressing up the pitch, I would love to turn this into a trequartista. That is the dream, that we can turn that role into a trequartista at some point, but we're going to have a sensational squad to be able to pull that off. All right, guys, I hope you join me on this journey. I'm really looking forward to playing them 2 games. I'm actually going to be playing them 2 games right now after I switch the camera off. Wish me good luck. As I said, drop a like on today's video and let me know down in the comments, who is your Dutch team? Am I going to be able to pull this off? Can we take Go Ahead Eagles not only to the top of the Eredivisie, but we want to hear that Conference League music, that Europa League music, and that Champions League music in FM23, and we need it soon. We need it as quickly as possible. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday, 9 p.m, episode 2, Is It Alkmaar PSV. Cheers, guys. Take care. See you later.